Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we have nights 7 through 10 of the G131 Classic. We also have AEW's 2-year anniversary show, WWE, as their yearly nonsensical draft. The Vegas are down the car. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put that out there.
It's that night of 5 and time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Bakey, a.k.a. the Broniac Killer. And out there in South St. Louis, Missouri, South City, the beautiful South City, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Oh, allow us to bow our heads for multiple reasons this evening as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 226, chapter 3, verse 14, and the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, the holy trinity of BFR. Interesting day all the way around. Wrestling and non-related wrestling. I'm sure we just delved into it, so we're going to get into it more. Let's just talk some wrestling, man. I'm ready to talk some shit, get wound up, get pissed off about some things.
And also out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Two-Beer Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two-Beer Zach?
BFR West Side.
I am 6 beers, Zach, and I actually had to answer the phone with like the side of my pinky because I am all lubed up and ready to go.
That is what we like to hear. We are separated tonight. That wasn't the initial plan. There was a mishap with one of our vehicles tonight, and sometimes life gets in the way, guys. Mm-hmm. But we're doing our best to bring you. What is it? Episode 226.
226.
That means next week is the coveted 227, and Jason and I are probably the only people old enough to remember what 227 means.
Fuck you,
we do not. I remember. My grandparents used to watch it. We do not have any sponsors tonight, but we have tons of wrestling to get to. So without further ado, Jason, get that cue up. Let's get to that 3 count.
Already there, baby. Oh, there you go. Late 3 count, but we'll do it again.
Jason, what's the 1 count?
1 count, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to jump back to the G1 nights 7, 8, 9, and 10. Interesting, when we last left it, to me, the biggest story was, 2 big stories. Zack Saber Jr. had, at this point, run roughshod over the A block, obviously taking out Naito per injury and tapping out, not Ishii, but Ibushi and Shingo as well in back-to-back matches, which was a little eerie of the New Japan Cup run that he had. So to me, that was the A block story. And then obviously on the B block side, you have undefeated Jeff Cobb, my pick for the tournament, and one Okada, both running the table. Okada going back to the Rainmaker, but we'll talk about that in a second. We can jump to the A block action first. Let's just talk about Zack Saber Jr. since I did bring him up. He had 2 matches in this 4-match episode, I guess you want to call it. For lack of a better term, he defeated the Great Okan, but then lost to Ishii, making it his first loss in the tournament for the G1 on the A block side. Two-Beer, what did you think about either or match? You can start with Ishii since that was the most recent.
Great Okan's turning the corner for me, man. The G1 has that kind of ability to do that in people. It can really make people shine through their strengths, and his strength is his wrestling, not his character work. So there's just less character work in this, so I'm liking it. But overall, I really enjoyed the fact that Ishii did not tap out, because the whole story with Zack Sabre Jr. is he's just tapping everybody out. And I'm like, Stone Pitbull is going to pass out. Like, he ain't tapping. Like, no way. So I like what they did. Gave Ishii a win because he was 3-0 or 0-3 at that point. And he's just that guy, man, that can give anybody in the world a loss. Like, he's not going to win a lot of his matches, but he's going to give you one of the best matches of the night, if not the best. And he can pull a win off of anybody. And just a cool story. Exactly what you would want out of this thing.
Bill, what'd you think about Zack Sabre Jr. taking his first loss on the A block side?
I mean, I liked the match. I was rooting for Zack Sabre Jr. as much as I love Ishii. I kind of wanted Zack Sabre. I'm rooting for Zack Sabre Jr. in this thing, and I wanted him to keep going. I wanted him to keep the victory going. It's been interesting. That's the cool thing about the G1 is that the stories that are told within the tournament are so unique to this round robin format that they have, and that Kevin Kelly was talking about how Ishii, he was talking about the last time he lost 3 in a row and how it had been a long time, and Ishii was looking pretty down. I mean, in terms of wins and losses. And then he comes back and beats the guy who's killing everybody. I love the match. I didn't like it as much as I liked the Great O'Khan Zack Sabre Jr. match, but we can get to that later. What do you think about the Ishii match?
I thought that at some point, unless you're Okada, and I'm still thinking Okada is going to get, a hiccup at some point. Nobody's going to run the G1 table. It was just a matter of figuring out when Zack Sabre Jr. was going to take the first L. I kind of thought that O'Khan might have been the first L just so you could kind of elevate him a little more, but Ishii, upon retrospect, was probably the smarter way to go about it, because it would make sense, like Two Beer said. The way that Zack Sabre Jr. had been going at this point, he's been tapping everybody out. Ishii wasn't tapping out. He was going to pass out first. It just so happened that he overcame the arm injury in the match and overtook Zack Sabre Jr. I have no problem with that. It was a good story, a good segue to get Ishii back on track, because Ishii was, like Kevin Kelly was saying, that, he's a run of streaks. He lost 3 in a row, and now he's starting to get back on track again, winning a couple of matches after the fact. So, I mean, the Ishii match was good. I thought Great O'Khan was good. I didn't have a problem with him losing to Zack Sabre Jr. Like I said, personally, I would want him to win, because I think I have a high opinion of Great O'Khan. I think he'll do well in the future if Will Ospreay doesn't come back to New Japan. I think Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb will be fine on their own. I thought this might have been a way to elevate, but I mean, we can still elevate him in different ways without having him upset the Zack Sabre Jr. apple cart, so to speak.
Was that the finish where he tapped out immediately? It was like an MMA tap. He did it it was like an octopus, but he was on his shoulders. Yeah,
it was so quick. I was like, oh shit, hang on, let me rewind that.
That was so cool, man. I love that finish.
Yes, me too. And I want to talk about that Great O'Khan Zack Sabre Jr. match, because that exceeded my expectations. Because like Zach, I've been slow to get on the Great O'Khan train. I thought that Great O'Khan, in the 2 matches that we saw, and we'll get to his second match with Kenta here in a second, but I thought that Sabre Jr. match versus O'Khan was incredible. I didn't know that Great O'Khan had it in him to have a Zack Sabre Jr. match with Zack Sabre Jr. And that match, of the 4 nights that we're talking about, there's probably 4 matches that really stood out to me as tons and tons of fun. I thought night 8 was just kind of okay, but Great O'Connor versus Saber Jr. was incredible. And like Zach said, and agree with it more, the way that he tapped out Great O'Connor was impressive. It's so fun to watch a submission wrestler like that be able to tap a guy out without a finisher. You know, it wasn't his finisher. It's not something that he's ever won with before, at least not in a notable match. And Great O'Connor tapped out immediately. And when you're watching it, you're like, yeah, I could, like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually putting a move on Great O'Connor that Great O'Connor was actually tapping out to. You know what I mean? That's what it looked like. And that, to me, that's exciting, unique professional wrestling that you don't see a whole lot.
I'll just piggyback on that for like 30 seconds. Kevin Kelly, once again, this is why I tell people all the time, and those who are listening that are slow to the G1 or New Japan in general, this is a good time to do it because every night is done in English and Japanese commentary. So if you don't know storylines, this is a good time to jump on and get on board because Kevin Kelly is great on telling backstory. Part of the Great O'Connor's backstory, I didn't know this, is that he has an amateur wrestling background. So as I'm starting to watch this Great O'Connor Saber Jr. match, it makes a little more sense that he can at least keep up with, Saber Jr. He's not going to, beat the submission master by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not going to get embarrassed either. So in that scenario, that's what made that match a little more intriguing because Great O'Connor could keep up with ZSJ.
Well, let's piggyback off that then and go from Great O'Connor, Saber Jr. to Great O'Connor's second match against Kenta, which was another interesting match because beforehand, Great O'Connor told Kenta, whoever loses has to do you guys know what the word is? It's like the Obeza, I think.
It sounds right.
Japanese
yeah.
word.
I was going to say, this is your territory on this one. I have no idea what the correct terminology is on this one.
No, I don't remember either.
I only know what Kevin Kelly told me, but it's supposed to be like kind of a humiliating way to bow to somebody after a loss.
Yeah, I don't remember the term, but yeah, you just get down on your knees and essentially, it's just like, supplication.
So, what did you think, Zach, of this match? I mean, Kenta's full on heel. I mean, just all the way heel. He's trying to take dudes out, and he beat Great O'Connor in kind of a sports entertaining kind of way, which is he brought in the baseball bat after he beat his ass with a chair. Brought in the baseball bat. Great O'Connor gets caught with the baseball bat. And so Kenta ends up being the victor. What's your temperature on a G1 match ending like this?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was more sports entertainment, and he did like the schoolboy. The match itself, before that, like Kenta was like in full on bully mode. Kenta does this stuff where he does these like really hard palm strikes. And I'm not always sure that they're consensual. And it kind of bothers me because I've seen him do it where it's not consensual. Like I saw matches like years ago where he was like beating up on Taguchi when Taguchi was young, and it took like Yuji Nagata to get in there. It was like an 8-man tag, and like he was really open-handed and slapping Taguchi, like kind of against his will and like bullying him, and then Nagata got in there and just like brought the hammer down and did the same thing to him, like. And so I don't know, and that was a younger Kenta, different Kenta, I don't know, but he's got that rep, right? And I just saw that coming out, and Okan, just coming back from excursion, and it was just something I was like, it definitely added some intrigue for me, but the match, kind of more Bullet Club BS, but it did add some intrigue, at least overall. I mean, I like the match for sure, but yeah, it was interesting that they had like the chairs and shit, and it's just not you think of G1 as like this athletic competition, at least whenever people like Yano aren't in there.
Okay.
But, you know, you just don't expect to see that. And they don't do DQs and stuff for chairs in New Japan. It was very different. But at least, you know, if they don't do a whole bunch of it, it's fine.
Jason?
Look, I was going to say, if you got a problem with this match, then you'd better have a problem with Yano matches, because that's basically what the finish of this was in some form or fashion. I mean, don't get me wrong. Once again, I get it. Kenta should go over Great O'Khan. I don't have a problem with that. I like the fact that there was, you know, a little side bet on the line, you know, to the loser of the match. But I kind of agree with Two Beer on this one. After the chair shots, the chair spots, I'm like, okay, this should kind of wrap things up. And then the bat came out. We're pulling an Eddie Guerrero, you know, oh, he hit me with the bat thing. And then, you know, it's the Yano, you know, roll up 1, 2, 3. You know, by that point, I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of over this shit. You know, you had a good match going, and then you pulled the Bullet Club card out. It is what it is. I'm not going to get mad because it's just Bullet Club. That's just what they do. We'll talk about it on the B-side with Evil or whatever the case may be. I just don't like the fact that now we're delving. Give me Yano doing that shit. I don't need to see 2 or 3 people doing that same shit.
So let's keep it going. So Kenta's second match, or Kenta's first match actually, but the second one we'll talk about was Kenta versus Shingo. Shingo goes over. This seemed to me while I was watching it, because Kenta went so heel and used the chair on the bad arm, I was for sure that Kenta was going to win it, and that they were setting up Kenta fucking up Shingo for the rest of the tournament by messing up that arm and maybe taking him out of it. I know they don't, obviously they're not going to take him out of it because they've already lost Naito, but Shingo comes back and wins this match, which was, you know, as I watched lots of Japanese wrestling today. I was surprised that Shingo actually ended up going over. It was a good match, probably my least favorite Shingo match of the tournament thus far, but I liked it okay. I do like Kenta's character. Kenta in ring, he's had a lot of injuries over the last few years, and he's definitely leaning more into his character than he is into his in-ring style. At the same time, you know, Shingo's only got 6 points at this point. If he would have lost to Kenta, he'd only have 4. What you think about it, Jason?
Just look at, you said it, that this is your least favorite Shingo match, and that was the comment I was kind of stuck on. So I was like, well, damn, let me look back and check out who Shingo had wrestled up to this point. Ishii on night 1. Night 3, he wrestled Saber Jr. Night 5 was which
was a banger.
Yeah,
Saber Jr. Shingo was an absolute banger.
It's arguably in the argument for match of the tournament so far. Night 5 was against Nagata, so that was basically the walkover match, but that was still a good match. And then obviously
that was a better match than the Kenta match, really.
Okay, and that's where I was just kind of like, well, I guess he's kind of got a point there, you know. I mean, as good as this match was, I mean, I can look at those first 3 Shingo matches, and you make a good point. So that's what I was tripping off of, honestly. The match itself, I thought was good. I agree with you that I thought that the Shingo arm was going to be a more ongoing storyline, especially after ZSG tapped him out, and then the guy that kind of got on him, you know, on night 5 or whatever. So I was thinking, you know, coming into this match is kind of heavily taped. You got Kenta doing work on the chair with the on the arm or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I was with you on that. I was waiting for Shingo to go down on that one, but he pulled the shit out. So I mean, you know, I'm with that. I don't necessarily think Kenta needs to be in the title picture as of right now.
Yeah, so I mean, he's somebody you can throw in there if you're like desperate for a main event, because he's Kenta. I mean, total Japanese legend, but he kind of coasts by on his reputation and being in Bullet Club now, you know, on gimmicks more than actual like in-ring dynamic ability, even though he's got it in him. But yeah, fun. But yeah, I mean, if you want to transition from that to the Shingo Ibushi match, man,
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
what a match! I mean,
Jesus
these guys
Christ.
put it all out there. You knew it was going to be good.
Talk
but
about making
it
shit
was
up.
nice. Yeah, it was nice to see Ibushi, really pulling off a fantastic match whenever, the story is, whether it's kayfabe or not, that Ibushi is not 100%. And it just kind of goes to show how great of a performer that he is, that we don't know which one. It could be a work,
No.
it could be based on reality in a work, or it just could be, playing it up. But yeah, I mean, 25-minute match, main event. It took multiple Kamigoyes, lots of, finishers being exchanged, just classic New Japan stuff. And, yeah, it was awesome. Loved it. This whole night was, pretty fun overall.
No, I agree.
Totally agree.
Go ahead, Bill.
Ibushi Shingo might have been. It's probably my second. I don't know. Let's just say that I really enjoyed the fuck out of it. When you're getting Ibushi, the G1 does a good job of building up to the final match, and the final match is always going to be 20, 25 minutes, and it's kind of predictable, but predictable's not always bad. And when you get Ibushi Shingo, you just kind of settle in, and I put my phone down, and my baby girl was sleeping on me, and I just settled into it. And it's so worth settling into those first 10 or 15 minutes. It's kind of like I don't know if I've ever made this comparison, but it's kind of like tennis. It's like dropping into a tennis match isn't as much fun as watching a tennis match from the very beginning, because then you can see the whole psychology of it's one-on-one, and Ibushi Shingo definitely tickled my fancy, so to say. I loved it. I thought it was a 4.75-star match. I thought it was fucking fantastic. You couldn't ask for much more, except for maybe 10 more minutes.
There is one image in that match that was fantastic, where Ibushi's he does these things, and the camera work for New Japan's so spot on, where Shingo's about ready to just clothesline him in the back of the head, he's doing that kind of dropping clothesline, and Ibushi's just on his knees in the middle of the ring, and he's just got this kind of dumb look on his face, this dumb smile. He's got them taking a bump, and Shingo just destroys his entire world. Oh man, this is one of those iconic moments I'm going to remember.
Dude, no, there's not much more I could add to that. I mean, this was the match that we should have got when we had to bring in Tanahashi, which was not a bad match by any stretch of the imagination, but Tanahashi stepped in to face Shingo, or whatever the case may be, and they put out a instant classic. This was just the same thing. It was just a classic G1 match, like Trooper said, 20-25 minutes. I was mad for a second just because I wanted to see this one for the title, but Ibushi winning, as long as Shingo can, navigate his way through the rest of this, injury free, and then whoever wins, he can kind of, rebuff that, advance whatever that one, whoever wins this bad boy. Ibushi's going to be one of those 2 or 3 guys that Shingo's going to have to probably deal with before we get to Wrestle Kingdom. Hell, there's 3 nights of Wrestle Kingdom. Shingo might have to wrestle Ibushi in one of those nights. So, I mean, this win sets up a lot of different things moving forward.
So, speaking of Ibushi, his other match was on night 7 versus Yano. I'll start this. This is exactly how long a Yano match should be. It was 5 minutes.
If even that.
I know that I kid Jason a lot because Jason hates Yano.
Fuck that dude.
Yano's funny in very short very short bursts, and him putting a hood on Ibushi, but Ibushi eventually coming out with the win in 5 minutes, pretty much exactly what you want. Right? Am I right, Zach?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, and they went hard for those times. It wasn't like one of those things where they don't touch for like 3 minutes and then, they kind of play around a whole bunch. Like, they were active and, in those 5 minutes. So it was fun.
You should have seen me trying to explain Yano to my wife as she was breastfeeding this morning at 8:30.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Yeah, exactly. I'm with
like,
you, Aaron.
Well, he's a funny guy. Okay, yeah. She's like, this is stupid.
Exactly.
Like,
Bingo. Good job, Aaron Vagey. That's what I'm fucking talking about. No, all bullshit aside. I mean, this is what it is. This is what you get for a Yano match. But like Bill said, I'm just glad it was quick, to the point. We can move along. Same way with, I guess that was night 9 against Bushi, or whatever the case may be. A little more on the comedy side, but it's a little longer, probably too long for my taste. But I mean, like I said, this is what you get with Yano. Sooner or later, he's going to pull the upset here at some point. He's already got one in the bag. He'll get a second one here, and it's in some form or fashion. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Zack Saber Jr. While you bullshitting.
I'll admit, I didn't even watch it. Like, I only watched the ones for the points count. I don't have that much time. The only guys... Sorry, go ahead.
I just laughed.
The only guys that we... Oh, I love it when you laugh. The only guys that we haven't talked about in the A block are Tangaloa and Yujiro. Tangaloa lost to beat Ishii in night 7, and Tangaloa beat Yujiro in night 9. Can you guys tell Tangaloa and Tamatanga apart?
Are we
100% every single time?
Are we having this conversation right now?
Did we talk about this last week?
God, I hope not. If you can't tell these jokers apart, we really got a problem.
They're twins, right?
Oh my God.
Nope. That's the Usos that you're thinking of, and they wrestle for WWE.
Wait, are Tangaloa and Tamatanga not twins? Are they brothers?
Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty! Yes, man.
I know they're not brothers, but are they like siblings?
Yes, they're siblings. Good Lord, they're brothers.
They're not even brothers. They're Polynesian.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't tell them apart.
Fuck you, too.
they're both fine. Tangaloa goes over Yujiro. Yujiro. I saw somebody online call him Huge, and that's the funniest nickname that I can think of.
What is it? What is it?
Huge.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, the Tokyo Pimp. I can go with that. No, I was glad that Tangaloa got his first win. It kind of, I won't say justifies him being here, but I thought his matches, and we're getting ready to jump over to the B side here in a little bit. Him, Chase Owens, and Tomatonga were the 3 guys that probably got the most, kind of, reactions when they were announced as G1 participants. I thought they've all kind of stepped up, especially the match that I saw today, and I won't spoil it, but I thought Tangaloa really stepped up in this particular match, night 11, which obviously we'll talk about next week. But yeah, I have to give both GOD guys credit. I thought they'd done really well up to this point.
So just to recap before we get to the B block, we have Zack Saber Jr. with 8 points, Great O'Khan with 8 points, Kenta with 8 points, and Kota Ibushi with 8 points. Very exciting. Takagi Shingo's got 6 points, Toriano's got 6 points, Ishii's got 6 points. Yujiro's got 4 points, Tangaloa's got 4 points, and bringing up the rear with a big old goose egg, we got Naito.
See, come on, man. Don't do that shit. Don't do that. Just because you ain't near me, you don't get to do that shit, okay? And I'm not going to say anything, okay? I will still say something. Don't do that.
Okay, let's get on to the B block, and let's just start with the guy that
Motherfucker.
Jason just brought up, Chase Owens. A mid-carder who probably would not be in the tournament if the globe were open. If it were not for the pandemic, we'd have guys like Jay White and Ospreay and other guys in there.
True story.
Maybe some Bryan Danielson,
Calm down.
Guys in there.
Calm down. Next year.
Chase Owens probably wouldn't be in there if not for the pandemic. Nevertheless, Chase Owens, he had 2 matches since we've last talked. He lost to Evil, but he went over Tanahashi in what was a very enjoyable match from night 10. What do you think of it, Jason?
I was like, what the fuck just happened? Wait a minute. No, you didn't. Good on Chase Owens. This is what I was talking about. I said it last week that Chase Owens was one of the guys I thought had stepped up and had some good matches. And now you just kind of, gave him his little cherry on top and having him going over Tanahashi. The match was good. The surprise, the finish was obviously a surprise. The Evil match, I thought he was good in the Evil match, even though, you had all kinds of fuckery from the Bullet Club side of the fence. But Chase Owens, once again, like I said, kudos to Chase Owens. I thought that up to this point, up to the Tanahashi match, I was just like, okay, he's not getting embarrassed out here. And then he beat the Ace, which, like he said at the end, he's got 2 really good wins underneath his belt. You can't take either one away from his ass.
Back, what you think?
Yeah, I was surprised, but it was a really fun match. Chase Owens is a really good worker. He just doesn't have like a great body, and he doesn't have like a shitload of charisma either. Mm-hmm. He's not incredibly dynamic or anything. He doesn't stand out in a whole lot of ways, but he's always gonna like go in there and give like a solid performance. It won't be like transcendent like Ishii or maybe even like Goto, not like hard hitting like that to where it really pops you, but he's a really good worker.
That's like the most damning thing you can say about a wrestler. It's like, he's got a terrible body. He's got no charisma. But, yeah, he can work. He can work, I guess.
No disrespect, but the man didn't tell a lie in any of that statement, man. I mean, if you brought out Chase Owens, he's not going to be the top of the card, but you're going to get a good Chase Owens match. He's going to, be a good worker. He's going to, work safe, things you need, and, a lower mid-card kind of guy.
It was cool to see him get the biggest win of his career.
Fucking A. That's what I'm talking about. G1, baby. Shit. The upset's coming. You just got to figure out when it happens.
I really want to know if it was Tanahashi's idea, because Tanahashi did him clean, man.
Yes.
It was a good match, and it was a fun match. The Evil match was, it was a Bullet Club match. It was okay. Evil matches are okay. They're probably... my hand is on the fast forward button when the Evil comes on.
I don't necessarily blame you on that. I can't. If they would have never put the double championship on them, I wouldn't have this level of disgust with Evil, because that basically starts this whole Bullet Club fuckery, where he used to have really solid matches. 2 G1s ago, an Evil match would be a fun match to watch because it wouldn't be total fuckery. Yeah, he would use the chair. Yeah, he would use the baseball shot where you put the chair on somebody's head and, swing for the fences. But ultimately, he wasn't nearly as bad as he is right now. We're to the point where Bill is fast forwarding through his matches. So, it is what it is. It's just, at this point, I just hope he doesn't win the block. Let's just call it for what it is.
I won't say that I fast forwarded through his matches, but I think about it. Like his match with Tama Tonga, I thought was really fun. Like, even though it was sports entertaining, it seemed it was non-stop sports entertaining. It wasn't like we had a really good 20-minute banger and then a bunch of bullshit came in at the end. It was like Dick Godo versus
Jado on the outside.
Yeah. It never stopped with those guys. they just kept fucking around with each other. So it was 20 minutes of bullshit, which is fine as long as it's 20 minutes of bullshit. I just don't like when it gets tainted, when it taints a good match at the end. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean. And like Jason said, evil matches used to be something to watch, and now they're something to pick up your book while they're on, because it's the same shit every single time.
Damn, no,
it's more the booking than the guy. And I like the Tama Tonga match only in the sense because Tama Tonga actually has like babyface potential, but he doesn't often get to do it. But against Evil, he's like automatic babyface, so it's kind of cool to see him in that role.
Let's talk about it.
And then,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Jump. Do you think? Shit. Sorry, Tom Brady. I apologize.
I was gonna say Tama Tonga versus Cobb was the first match on night 8. Is that where you were going?
Yep.
Jeff Cobb gets the victory over Tama Tonga. Jeff Cobb looking like a world beater, man. This was a fine match. What you think about before we get to Cobb's second match, which is the one that I really want to talk about?
I agree with you. It was a fine match, but it's more so about Jeff Cobb being, like you said, that world beater. Now we're getting to the point where, at this point, has ZSJ lost? ZSJ has lost his first match. No, he hasn't. I'm sorry. Take that back. ZSJ, Cobb, and Okada are still undefeated. So that's to me is the storylines going in.
No. The only two guys that haven't lost yet.
No, I was talking about at the time of.
Oh, at the time, yeah. Sorry.
Of Tama Tonga and Jeff Cobb, you still had those guys still running undefeated. So for me, that was can Jeff Cobb continue to look strong? Answer yes. Obviously, like I said, that's my pick. So I got to ride his ass to the end. It's not once again, not a knock against Tama Tonga. He's done well. Chase Owens has his big win. GOD has their wins on the board, but to me, like I said, Jeff Cobb is the guy of the story from there. And then I guess that was night 10. Him and Tai Chi just had a freaking banger of a match. God bless Tai Chi. I mean, here we go with motherfuckers talking about, Tai Chi ain't that good. Look, don't sleep on Tai Chi, okay? He gave Jeff Cobb all that he wanted and then some. Tai Chi has every right to be in this G1 like anybody else. I thought this might be the one where Jeff Cobb slipped on the banana peel and got the first L. He pulls this one out, staying undefeated up to this point as well. So Jeff Cobb looking good so far. Okada looking just as good, but no, I got to give credit to Jeff Cobb on this one.
Chuvir, what do you think about this match?
Yeah, I really with the Tama Tonga match, same kind of thing. He had that babyface dynamic, and against Tai Chi, really solid. Tai Chi, when he wants to turn it on, he turns it on, and he's really fun to watch and very creative. And I just love his character. Like, I just love that he just walks out there like Phantom of the Opera with this hot chick every night so seriously. Like, doesn't even
motherfucker, I can say
gangster.
Okay, I could say it. Don't fuck with me.
It's not even ironic. It's just like pure. It gives me so much joy. But it's bonkers that this run that they have Cobb and Okada on. I mean, it might come to the point where they both run the gamut and go head to head on the last night. I mean, that would be a fun story, and I don't think it's a story that's been told. So,
well, they've also said if Evil, I forget what I read, but like if Evil beats Cobb and Cobb beats Okada, then it'll be a 3-way tie going into the last night. I think something like that. Like it seems like there's a story they're telling.
Don't do that. Don't put that out there like that.
Don't do what?
Don't.
What do you mean?
Don't put that out there like. What you mean? What you mean? Don't put that out there like that. Okay, Evil is not beating Jeff Cobb. Okay, let's put that on the shelf. You never said that. That's gonna go away. Okay, Okada and Jeff Cobb will meet him the final night. I don't know where shit's gonna stand at that point. but Evil is not going to beat Jeff Cobb. Okay, let's just put that away.
I mean,
no.
Okay, all right. I mean, I guess I really like Kevin Kelly's call of this Tai Chi Cobb match because he was kind of like befuddled. He said, Tai Chi's become a fan favorite, but I don't think he's done anything differently. He hasn't really changed his style. Like, just everybody starts liking him now. But Tai Chi has become a must-watch guy for me. There's certain matches, and we're kind of in the G1 is such a long process that there are some matches that come in the middle where you're just kind of like, yeah, I'll watch it, but there's a match coming up that we're going to talk about that seemed like a shit match, and it turned out being a banger. But Tai Chi matches are a must-watch for me, and this Cobb Tai Chi match was when I talked about the 4 matches that I loved out of these 4 nights. That was one of them. Tai Chi's other match was versus Yoshihashi. What do you think about this?
Who versus Yoshihashi? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Tai Chi.
Oh, Tai Chi. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't remember any specifics about this match.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. So, I mean, obviously didn't jump out. I mean, I like both guys a lot, but nothing over the top.
What do you think, Jason?
No, to me, I guess the storyline here was more on Yoshihashi at this point. He had some really good matches, but just a bunch of tough losses, going 0-4 coming up to this point. Tai Chi is just kind of, if I'm not mistaken, make sure I'm seeing this right, he had just lost to Evil on night 6. So he came out hot, had the, Evil match, and now we're looking at Yoshihashi, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a chance for him to get kind of back on track. And God bless Yoshihashi, he just kept coming, and finally got the win. So at this point now, I'm looking at it where Tai Chi has just lost now back-to-back matches, one in a really tough fashion against Yoshihashi, the other one in some fuckery, and now Yoshihashi has just gotten his first match win in the G1, kind of, finally getting off the slide. So for me, that was the story, was the fact that Tai Chi was going the way that I hoped he wouldn't, and he just ran into a guy that just, in total Yoshihashi kind of scenario, just doesn't quit, just won't back down. So, I'll give him credit for that. It was a decent match, but nothing that, I don't blame you guys. It wasn't anything that kind of stood out or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember now that you mentioned it. It was more about the finish than it was about the match for me. I remember posting about this finish whenever it happened on Friends of BFR because I was so stoked about Yoshihashi. So Yoshihashi is for the children, and he's the guy that's always, never give up, right? Never surrender, always show up to work, do your best, and eventually good things will happen to you. And he's got a great message, so I like it.
He's the John Cena of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
He needs him a Nikki Bella.
Whoa, boy. Well, no, Nikki's married. Okay, never mind. That's still kind of fucked up, though, so I guess it's fucked up on both ways, Fucked up, he's getting John Cena's sloppy seconds, and now he's, breaking up probably a happy home, I would assume, with, wife and kids, but, what do I know?
Or Peter. Like, it doesn't have to be Nikki. Just, he needs some a dime piece.
Wait a second. Hang on, man. I was going to say, we already got, like, Takahashi running around with Peter. Tai Chi's got Miho. I mean, we got something working out there. Yoshihashi doesn't need that. See, that's not going to keep him focused. We need him focused, okay? Like he said, he's for the kids, man. The kids don't need to be worried about, sex.
Oh, I don't mean as like a manager. I just mean he deserves it.
Okay, fair enough. Bill, go ahead. I'm sorry, I hijacked you.
Off camera. Or on camera, just different zip.
Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry. I hijacked your shit. I swear to
Hold
God.
on, what were we talking about?
Just finishing up Yoshihashi thoughts against Taichi.
Okay, so we're live again?
Yeah. I was going to say, we were just bullshitting amongst ourselves. I just didn't want to hijack your shit, so you can go from wherever you want to go at this point. You want to talk about Okada or Sonata, whatever.
So we're not recording.
No, we are.
We're totally recording.
I mean, are you like chopping up a body or something? I mean, do we need to?
No, I don't feel like talking about Yoshihashi versus Taichi. I feel like talking about.
Oh, we already talked about it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we already
Move
talked
on.
about it. Yeah.
I feel like talking about Goto versus Yoshihashi.
Okay.
Do it in night 10
Okay.
because I thought that match was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I almost fast forwarded through it. They were talking about how much they loved each other, and then these guys beat the shit out of each other.
They came out swinging. I was like, oh shit! They fight. They fight.
They beat the holy hell out of each other, man. It was unbelievable.
Hey.
I loved it so much.
Brothers fight sometimes.
Chaos Brothers, man. Chaos Brothers give you the best matches. And when you put them against each other, it's just the best.
I would always have to agree with that just because they don't wrestle each other. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, when they get the chance, they bang it out. This, like, I agree with Bill. I was not looking forward to this at all. And the bell rang and they both, like, charged into the center and started swinging. I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to go like this. Fuck it. They chose violence. Let's watch.
It really is. It really is like two guys, though, that probably wouldn't have been in the G1.
Goto would have.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think Goto would have made the cut. Depending on how many guys in they had, Goto would have made the cut. But yeah, you're right.
But it's two guys that were like, let's go out there and make the most of it. There's people watching. Let's actually give them a show. And they were fucking smoking each other in the face, man. I was like, oh, these old guys are concussing each other. And then I thought, they're probably both like 39.
Yeah, right.
Yoshihashi's the same age as Okada. I think he's 33. He might be a little bit older, actually.
You got to be bullshit.
Came in at the same time.
Holy shit. That's amazingly funny.
Okada's only like 33, but they came in at the same year. But I think Yoshihashi is a little bit older because he didn't make the cut. Like, he actually tried out like multiple times, like over and over for New Japan.
I
so he wasn't like a prodigy right away.
I think that sounds right, actually. Why you bullshitting?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out how much I enjoyed that match.
No, it was way better than I anticipated. There's no question about that. So yeah, I would totally piggyback on that. Just thinking about what was going to come ahead, that was one of those where, yeah, if I wanted to fast forward, I could easily fast forward that because obviously you had the main event on deck, but pleasantly surprised.
All right, so Goto's other matches.
I mean, it's not the line of coke that you do off the stripper's ass, but it's the line of coke that you do in the strip club bathroom. It's real good. So it's just not,
oh man,
like the best.
So I have a story.
I was like, okay, this one is not just going to stay right here. Go ahead, tell the story.
No, I'm not going to tell it. I'll tell you this. It has nothing to do with strippers, but it has everything to do with coke.
Right.
So Okada Goto was just fine. Like I said, I thought the 9-8 was pretty weak. Any thoughts on Okada?
It was fine. It was Goto just putting up the solid effort that you would expect him to have at this point. But, once again, like I said, the B block is really two stories. It's the Jeff Cobb, rolling over everybody in an impressive and fairly short fashion, and Okada, revisiting his Rainmaker past and dominating everybody into that. And unfortunately in this case, Goto was just the 1, 2, 3, 4th victim of this little train that's been going so far.
Well,
yeah, I mean, same story. Another couple of chaos guys. You don't see them wrestle often, but you see it in tournaments like this and New Japan Cups and stuff like that. But
Okada got a little frisky a couple of times on the outside. Taking advantage of Red Shoes count or whatever, the DDT on the outside, throwing him into the guardrail. So that was, once again, kind of piggybacking what Two Beer said. That's interesting to see the two Chaos guys getting to go at it on shit like that.
And then we had Okada Sonata.
Motherfucker.
What do you think about this?
They're one of the best matches of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like another 30-minute draw tease. We had one of these that went the other way last year. I think it was last year, where it went like 29 minutes. I think it was the longest decision
in the G1 match,
in G1 history, where Sonata went over with the moonsault like 29 minutes and 57 seconds or something crazy.
Yeah.
But this time it went the other way. And these guys have great chemistry. It's always a great match. I mean, they've main evented multiple shows, and it's always fantastic. And this one did not disappoint either. But Okada went over.
Jake?
Yeah, I was kind of rooting for Sonata just because, it's my Jeff Cobb pick looks a little better if, you put an L on Okada. But, obviously the right guy went over. They teased last year's match, but then obviously Okada wins this year's match. Rainmaker once again. Plenty of crazy spots. The knee of Sonata became an issue at certain points where he couldn't pull off some of his signature moves. So that was a little story into itself. I mean,
the last segment, the last 3 minutes or whatever, were incredible.
Yeah, where I almost felt bad for Sonata, but unfortunately I've seen this scene so many times where it's close but no cigar. I don't feel that empathy any longer. I'm just kind of like, God damn it.
Dude, I'll tell you this, like Sonata without a mohawk, like a 2 out of 10 for me. But when I think back to him when he had that mohawk, he was like 8. He was like an 8.5. It was the baddest motherfucker I'd ever seen. And now he just looks like he's in, one of those Korean pop bands or whatever.
Stop.
I just sound like the oldest guy in the world.
A little bit.
He's just got that stone face. He has no facial expressions. Like his facial, it doesn't change, and it really suffers. Like whenever he's not at his most athletic, or he doesn't have an incredibly athletic opponent.
He never gets mad. Like even like Okada will rage sometimes, but Sonata never gets mad.
He's completely stoic all the time.
Yeah,
which can be good and bad, but yeah, I agree with you guys totally.
He's a weirdo. And then Sonata's other match was against Tanahashi, also main evented.
Like I said,
Deservedly so.
Tanahashi goes over Sonata.
Right, and the bridesmaid, close but no cigar. It's obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but the Tanahashi match came first. I won't say he gets caught slipping, but Sonata falls to the ace, deservedly so. And then, I guess that's night 10 or whatever. He loses to Okada in a barn burner match, kind of,
Yeah, but Sonata should lose to those guys.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'll say this. Kevin Kelly made a good point where in the Okada match, they were saying, he and Chris Charlton were saying that, he and Okada were basically similar. They came in roughly at the same time. They look similar. They don't wrestle the same way, but, the running story was, why can't Sonata get over the hump? And these matches are just kind of like reinforcing that, burning question. It's not like Sonata is a bum or anything. When we first started this pod, we were all high on Sonata. Now it's just kind of like,
Mohawk.
Okay, if you want to call it the Samson deal, then so be it. I'll jump on that theory. His booking has now allowed him to kind of come back to the pack. His athleticism hasn't changed. Everything about him hasn't changed, minus the mohawk. His booking has brought him back to the pack a little bit, in my opinion. Two Beer, what do you think?
And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, he's a guy that you can always heat back up. But I remember whenever he split with Evil, I thought it was going to be could go one way or another, and thankfully he's
when he split with
at least
Evil,
relevant.
When he split with Evil, didn't you think that Evil was the Jannetty?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, because I figured that they had plans for Evil. Just the way that they presented him, like in these kind of matches, it was always like stronger, like in like G1 matches and stuff, rather than Sonata. So I always kind of thought that they had bigger things for Evil rather than him.
Oh, I didn't. But Tanahashi's the last one to talk about. Tanahashi. Well, let's just go down the B block points. Okada's got 10. Todd's got 10. Evil's got 8. Then Tanahashi's got 6. That's it. Sonata's got 4. Taichi's got 4. Goda's got 2, and Yoshihashi has 2. Oh, and Tamatanga has 2.
I really hope it just goes down to the last night. That's all I'm going to say.
What'd you say?
I said I just hope it goes down to the last night and both guys are undefeated. I'll put that little cherry on top of that shit before.
So they face each other on the last night?
Yes.
They 100% do.
One way or the other.
Regardless of the outcomes, they will be on the last night. They'll face each other.
And I think that's how the B block is going to be settled in some form or fashion.
Okay, so I want 2 words from each of you. I want the A block winner and the B block winner. Jason, you go first.
B block, I'm going to still obviously stick with Jeff Cobb. A block, Zack Saber Jr.
Zach? You're on mute, Zach.
No, I was thinking Cobb, Shingo.
Dang. I was going to go Cobb with Bushi.
All of which, everything that we said, are fantastic matches.
Do you think they put 2 non-Japanese guys in the final?
I think you have 3 nights of Wrestle Kingdom.
2 Japanese people win the Royal Rumble in the same year.
Yeah, right. I won't even go with Wrestle Kingdom. I'll just say this. The way they've booked this, Zack Sabre Jr. is going to have to go on some sort of losing streak because he's got tiebreakers over Shingo. He beat Shingo. He beat Ibushi. And then who did he beat that third night?
He beat Naito, but everybody did. Okay, it didn't really matter.
See, look, motherfucker.
Everybody beat Naito.
Okay, hey, man. Hey, fuck both you motherfuckers,
but he actually
okay?
did it. Everybody else just got to buy. He did it.
Yeah, no. That's
okay.
True.
See, fuck all y'all.
Out.
You should have a tiebreaker over everybody.
Fuck both you motherfuckers. My point is this.
Send them to the DL.
Hey, man, hold up. How you know about the DL, man? You go to one fucking basketball game, and all of a sudden you a sports aficionado? Get the fuck out of here.
I just knew that from baseball. I didn't even know they had a DL in basketball.
Good. Okay, there's the Zach I know and go. Good boy.
No, he keeps his nerd cred. All right, so we all said, let's get. Hey, Jason, get ready.
Yep.
Let's get to that. 2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count. Almost forgot. We gave more coverage to the G1 than Von Wagner gives coverage to his eyelashes.
Now, see, nigga, you ain't shit. Holy fuck. God damn. Oh, I'm sorry, Billy. I'm sorry. Man. I stepped on the cat.
Wait, I thought we were talking about AEW though. We're not talking.
We were though. Yeah, I just had to say that. So anyway, I had it on the TV. It was killing me. But so yeah, AEW Dynamite. Totally forgot what happened in Rampage. Some stuff happened. I'm sure I could pull it up, but maybe I'll remember as we talk about it. But we started off with an 8-man tag that was bonkers, right? So this is the anniversary edition of AEW. We had, second anniversary, first anniversary? I don't even know.
Second
anniversary.
How you not going to know your favorite promotion's anniversary, man?
I'm pretty deep in my cups here. But,
8 beer Zacks in the house.
Yeah, I haven't stopped since we started. So,
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, this 8-man tag was awesome. We had Daniel Bryanson and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and Hayden Christensen versus the Elite, right? So super fun, all action. We just really just completely destroyed. I mean, it's hard to think of like a more fun 8-man tag than this. Like it just, these things open the show. They don't have commercial breaks. I mean, I feel like we just kind of gush about these opening matches every week, but I think this one was truly great.
It's also so much fun to like see a guy like Christian in there, who's like, to say Christian's face is stupid, but like Christian's just he's a legend, and like he's in there with all these young guys doing all this crazy shit, and like he plays his part and gets hurt at the end. It's like you said, it's everything you want a 4-on-4 match to be. You couldn't ask for anything more.
Kind of the spillover, I guess. I won't even say spillover, but this part of this angle is from Rampage on Friday night, where you had Bryan Danielson and Nick Jackson open the show with a really good fucking match there too. So
how did I forget? Jesus Christ, I love that match.
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. We can all. It's all basically one kind of angle, whatever the case may be, because it's the ongoing story of Bryan Danielson running down Kenny Omega and going through the Elite as he does it. This was just in a much bigger scale, because obviously after the Nick Jackson match, you had the Elite come down, and then Jurassic Express, Christian Cage come down, so to set up this 8-man tag that we had on Wednesday night, which was off the chain bonkers. Christian Cage going out was okay as far as I was concerned. Neither here nor there. I mean, he's got bigger fish to fry at this point when it comes to his character per se. The only thing that I was worried about was that the heels were going to lose, and that would have been a problem to me. You can't have a man advantage. You can't have this hype machine as the super elite, the Click, or whatever the case is, whatever they want to call themselves on a night-to-night basis. They better not lose that match. They won, which is ultimately what I was more concerned with. The match itself was fucking crazy, like Two Peers said. I mean, it was so many fucking spots, it was hard to try to keep up at certain points. But I mean, it all worked itself out. It was entertaining as fuck, and it kind of kept the storyline going forward. So I can't really complain about it too terribly much.
Oh yeah, and about it at all.
No, there's. I mean, like I said, the biggest thing was just to make sure that. Sorry, Tender, I had to cut you off. I apologize. I'll call you later. The biggest thing was, like I said, the heels had to go over at that point. To me, otherwise you'd have had a problem on our hands.
Yeah, especially when you had Danielson tap out Jackson. I remember now why I couldn't remember Dynamite. I was actually in Hood River all weekend for work, and man, I was like alone. I didn't have my kids or my wife, and I had a company card, and I was just getting lit. So I watched Rampage twice, because the first time I do not remember anything that happened. So I watched it again when I was slightly more sober. But yeah, that Jackson Danielson match was fantastic, and of course Danielson goes over strong, taps him out. But what a fantastic match! What a fantastic story that they're telling. We have big money matches on the horizon. We get, all of these key guys and marquee matches. And I mean, this is like how you do it. You don't give away the house. You don't give away the singles matches that you want to see all the time. They gave us a 30-minute draw with Omega. They gave us a taste. The first hit's free. You got to pay for the second, and everything else is just little filler, but it's not filler. It's all, I mean, that's accurate, right? It's accurate.
True story. Yeah, you ain't lying, dog. No, my number is 314. Like, just give me your phone. Go ahead, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
No, it's just like, these mixed tag matches do a lot to service getting guys on screen and like packing things into 2 hours, but at the same time, you can do it like they would do it in the undercards of New Japan pre-COVID, where you work the stories, right? This is why you watch the beginnings of these shows, is because they further storylines in the ring, and they're doing that successfully in AEW as well. Unless Bill has anything to add, we can move on. We had a CM Punk interview. I personally...
Can we stop it here? Wait, are you talking about Rampage, or are you talking about Dynamite?
No, I was talking about Dynamite, sorry.
Well, you skipped the Moxley promo
in
the back where he was talking about ladder matches.
He was just getting ready to talk about it, boss.
No, I didn't have any. I didn't have any notes, so I was just going on memory here. So.
Yeah.
But the thing that he said that was so fucking funny during that promo is that he goes, "You think I haven't been in a ladder match?" He's like, he's like, "There's nobody in this promotion that can pin me. You think I've never been in a ladder match? I have a 3-month-old daughter at home, and she is insane."
I totally thought about you right then. I chuckled so fucking hard. I was like, "Yeah, buddy." He's like, "Bring this ladder match on. Fuck this."
I have a 2-month-old daughter here at home, and she is insane. And like when he said that, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I was like, "Let's go, Moxley. Let's go."
You guys can bond.
No shit. That's fucking. I totally thought about you when he said that. I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like Bill right about now."
Go ahead, Zach. Then we had Punk come out.
Yeah, so CM Punk's out there, and essentially just sets up a match for Rampage on Friday with Daniel Garcia. Gave away his shoes to a fan. I liked last week better, where he was on commentary, because you still got your CM Punk fill. I'm not like that person. I saw a meme this week where people are like, waited for CM Punk to come back for 7 years. He's back for 4 weeks, and they're already tired of him. I'm not tired of CM Punk, right? I'm still intrigued, mostly because I never really got to watch CM Punk on his first run. So, but I don't need the promo time like every week, at least, coming out, doing the whole entrance. I totally get why they do it. It's just, it's not for me.
No, I mean, it's not for me either. It's like, I'm totally down with CM Punk being back. And like, we got that first big hit of him being back. And then it's been diminishing returns the entire time. And at this point, yeah, I don't want to see him come out and just cut a promo. Like, he's got to do segments. Like, I want to see him wrestle. And then you got this weird vignette with Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes, where Arn's burning a bunch of stuff in a trash can.
What was he burning?
I don't know.
I was going to say, I never caught that. I was just curious because, I mean, obviously, you burning shit on somebody's backyard, it's got to have some sort of kind of sentimental value. Cody said, I guess it was a suit or some shit. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think of this segment? I thought they're trying to give Arn like a real angle here, and I don't know if Arn's up to it.
I love the slap, and I loved what he had to say. Little backstory: so they just bought that house, and Brandy tweeted that she would drive by this house every day and be like, "Oh, I wish I could have a house that was nice." And then it went on the market and they bought it. So they have some really super dope house in Atlanta apparently now. So it's a big thing. And the first thing Cody does is bring a camera crew and light a fire in a burn barrel.
Neighbors ain't gonna mind.
Yeah.
Fuck
But
does he
yeah,
think
so
he
there's a
is?
little bit of backstory, but I don't know. I liked it just because it's calling Cody out for being having a big head and thinking he's bigger than the wrestling business, and I liked it.
I guess I just didn't get it then.
Tough love. It came off as tough love to me. I mean, that's, kind of smack him around, hey, motherfucker, I need you to wake up. Malachi Black is over here just, running through the Nightmare family and basically starting to run through AEW now, as we going to learn later on. What you gonna do about it? That's the way I took it. It was a tough love segment. It came off a little weird, but ultimately that's my take from it. It was just, it's time for you to wake up. Give me this time, motherfucker, you pretty ass nigga. Shit, I'm gonna throw it in in this dumpster fire. Now what you gonna do? Come on, man, wake up. That's the way I took it.
Yeah, you're right. It did come off weird. That's the only thing I heard. Bobby Fish came out. Nice to see Bobby Fish in AEW. The guy, talk about, a pro's pro. He comes out and he fights Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. Fun match. Probably the most fun Bobby Fish has had in a match in a long time. Sammy Guevara, of course, goes over. The Lambert crew comes out. The crowd went absolutely ape shit
right
during this segment.
Dude, I've never heard a crowd drown out a dude so badly, and Dan Lambert sold it so well too. Between him talking during,
he was spectacular. The way
so
he
good.
Rolled with punches.
But yeah, I couldn't believe, Jericho said, I can't hear anything you're saying, and I was listening on TV and it was mic'd in, and I could still barely hear what he was saying. It was awesome.
Dan Lambert, it was almost like, egging the fans on. He was like, yeah, go ahead and sing that stupid little song. So it was basically telling the fans to sing along. Like him or not, Dan Lambert is good in wrestling. He's good at what he does.
Who doesn't like him?
He's awesome.
There are people out there
that don't like him.
Yeah, because it's the language he says is coded, or that's what I've seen online a couple of times. It's like, I don't know to tell you shit. He's a heat magnet.
What? Because he does shoot language?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what my guess is. I haven't gotten into a discussion about that because at that point, I don't think I'm going to convert those people. Their minds are pretty much set. I think he's a fucking amazing manager, and it at least has me curious to what's going to happen next.
He's amazing, and when Jericho's mic cut off, he played it. God, he played it so good, man. It was so good.
Yeah, he knows the shit.
So good off each other. I can't believe anybody doesn't like him. I'll take him over Paul Heyman and Don Callis.
Ooh, whoa. Hang on now.
Nah, maybe not Don Callis.
Yeah, I was going to say, you stepping in stepping into some shit over here, brother. I'll say,
he's one of the best promos in wrestling. He knows pro wrestling so well. And Lambert, yeah, he just knows how to do it. Some guys and, people, right? Just some people just get it. And he gets it.
Yeah.
Perfect example, yeah.
I agree
just
with
an
that
absolute
totally.
natural.
He was good in MLW. I think he's even better now in AEW. Go ahead, Bill.
Jericho comes out, Inner Circle comes out. Whatever, they're going to fight. Acclaimed do their thing. Does anybody think that guy is a good rapper? Is that guy supposed to be a bad rapper?
That was the weakest he's ever been. And I don't know if it's because he got in trouble and he's trying to neuter his own stuff, but that was weak.
Well, he's never really been Nas.
Nobody is.
I was say that's a high class right there. I take it as John Cena kind of shit back in the day. He says shit to be funny. It's bad in a funny way, And that's all I take it from. Fuck it. All I heard was Acclaim versus Lucha Brothers on Rampage for the title. After that, that's all I needed to hear. Shit. Game on.
Then we had they announced that the TBS champ is going to be a thing, which is going to be a women's title. I guess the women's version of the TNT title, which is pretty cool. And they also said that Dynamite is moving to TBS. I don't think that this, they always seem to announce this stuff, and it's like, does this mean anything to anybody? Did this have to take up 5 minutes of the show?
I think the introduction of the title, it being the first, ancillary
cool.
title.
I just don't even know why do they even have to tell us?
It's hugely important for people that don't follow it like us, because they might turn into TNT or have their DVR set or whatever, and then all of a sudden the show that they watch normally is not there, and they're not
they get
super
the
bothered
NHL
by it.
Or the NBA or whatever.
They'll be like, oh well, I'll just watch this or whatever. So they're
but the only people that
time.
watch wrestling at all though are people like us, or people whose TV is on TBS the entire time anyway.
What if you have the guy that's watching AEW for the very first time, and he's liking what he's seeing?
Yeah, and also not really. Our kind of experience is very separate, because even WWE, whenever they were moving to FS1 for weeks, whenever they were preempted, they would have a third of the people watching, and they have the most massive audience comparatively in wrestling. So I think the brand messaging and the messaging about where you can find us and when is hugely important to the success of the company. It's boring for us, but I think it's necessary.
I was trying to make jokes about people that just had CBS on the whole time.
I did see a joke about somebody said that the belt, the TBS, looks like hose. You guys see that on Twitter? No. And now I just can't unsee it. It just looks like the hose title. It looks like the TBS looks like HOS.
That's
bedazzled.
Fucking Comedy Central, dog. I've never thought about that until right now. That's amazing. I gotta go back and look at that shit.
You'll never be able to unsee it.
It kind of does look like hose. Yeah. I like the TBS title, man. I thought they needed something. I thought it was going to be the trios title while you're bullshitting, so that's why I kind of got excited. But if there's, a consolation prize in my world, this is a consolation prize. We're getting to the point where the roster is getting big enough to where they needed a second title, which I'm good with. The only problem is that how we're booking this, we're only getting the one. If you're like me, you're watching two shows of AEW. You watch Dynamite, you watch Rampage. Either one, you're getting at least one women's match. If that on Dynamite for sure, maybe that on Rampage. I'm not watching Dark and Dark Elevation to get to that point. They need to do more on the two main shows, have more women on the main shows to get this thing kind of over.
What did you guys think about that Darby Allin promo or vignette with Jim Ross, where he said that half of his face is painted because half of him feels dead inside?
That was not my favorite vignette. Not my favorite vignette. Very short, kind of almost unnecessary match with Nick Camaroto or whatever. 3 minutes or whatever. They could have taken Darby Allin out of this thing, except for the beatdown, and I think the show would have been just fine.
What do you think about it, Jason?
It was okay. I think it was more so to set up MJF down the line, match down the line versus anything else. I get it. It didn't hit me personally. Now, it might have hit others personally. For me, it wasn't a hit by any stretch.
Do you think that's because you're over the age of 9? Dante Martin comes out, calls out everybody. Malachi Black comes in. That should be a fun match.
I was like, he popped out.
God.
He popped out of nowhere. I was like, nigga, run. What you standing there for? You see this, man? What you doing? It's okay for retreat.
He was like every black dude in a horror movie, just waiting to die.
It's every black guy in the audience like, run, motherfucker, run. Oh, shit.
That's like when I saw 30 Days of Night at the Esquire. Ricky Stark comes out and does a promo. Brian Cage comes out and talks to them. I don't know. Go ahead, Jason.
They're going to wrestle Friday. Fight.
I was going to say, I don't know who said it last week, but I'm really thinking they're protecting Ricky Starks because of this neck injury he had. Because I would assume they'd have done this match a while ago. Because, I mean, you had Ricky Starks turn on Brian Cage. You know, usually, in theory, you would have that match a week, 2 weeks after, you know, that heel turn. It's been a hot minute since we've seen, you know, them kind of be in a match. So, I mean, I'm excited to see it. It's to me, this is more, you know, what's up with Ricky Starks.
Zach?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like if you're pushing one guy out of those two, I mean, I feel like Starks is kind of the guy because he's more of a complete package. Although, I mean, Cage talks well, and he's like does bonkers shit for the size that he is. I mean, he's a really dynamic dude. But I feel like as far as future, you know, Starks is, I don't know, is he younger? He looks younger. Seems younger. I just feel like he's kind of the guy to push out of this group.
I mean, for a big guy like Brian Cage, he's a very easy baby face, which you don't see a whole lot. Like, he's the guy that I root for against Ricky Starks.
Ooh. Okay. So,
yeah, personally, like I root for him. Yeah, totally. I'm with you. Even though he's the big guy, and usually you would root for the smaller guy. I totally see what you're saying. Right. Yeah,
but Ricky Starks,
I agree.
The fucking dick.
I know, I love it.
Did we talk about Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida?
We have not talked about that.
It's a fun angle.
I mean,
what do you think about it?
When they brought that trophy out, I was like, see, y'all doing some shit over here. And it foreshadowed the downfall of Hikaru Shida. I like the Serena Deeb kind of heel turn, slow but sure heel turn that we're having here. She's already a good wrestler. I just think she needed kind of a gimmick that kind of sets her out from a little bit of everybody else. When she had to get, a little heelish, she got a little heelish. She went after the knee when it came down to it. I like all her submissions. She's kind of a little miniature Saber Jr. on the female side. So yeah, I thought the match was good, but like I said, once they brought that little award out, I was like, yeah, this might not end well. And I love the fact that Serena Deeb, kind of pushed it in her fucking face. You ain't getting your 50th win on me, bitch. So yeah, it was good. It was a good match. I like the angle.
So Jason did have thoughts about it. Zach?
Yeah, I think this is fun because it was totally telegraphed. They did the whole thing like she was going to win her 50th match, and it's like, no, you're not. I also love that. Yeah. Serena did the heel turn almost before the heel turn where, they got the chair out and then she threw it back under the ring. And in Philadelphia, like, you don't put a chair back away. Like, it's Philadelphia. Like, you're going to get booed. So that was nice, like, foreshadowing. But yeah, like, it gives her, some pizzazz to her character because otherwise she was a little too, like, white meat. She was a very good technical wrestler, but we didn't really have much to go on other than that, and I imagine this is like something for Full Gear. This is just a good Full Gear match.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I realized this week while I was watching it is that AEW has the Straight Edge Society back together. They got Punk, They got Luke Gallows and they got Serena Deeb. They're missing Joey Mercury, but he only came at the end.
Mark.
Dude, the Strange Society was awesome, though.
Okay, keep
Is that
talking.
like a modern evolution of Right to Censor? I was not watching for the Straight Society.
Essentially, yeah.
CM Punk was a cult leader, and Luke Gallows and Serena Deeb were his devotees, and like
No shit, I didn't even realize Serena was ever in WWE.
For a little bit,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, she was.
Shaved her head and everything.
She was in Punk's faction.
So like, what kind of miss is that? What kind of miss is that they just like let like her go because they have like, I mean, they have fantastic women's wrestlers now. Was she just ahead of her time or what?
Yeah. This was when they were having bra panties matches and shit.
Yeah, I mean
this is probably like 2009, 2010.
Feels like
Zach,
it, yeah.
If you've ever seen it, Zach, you should watch the Royal Rumble where CM Punk kept tossing dudes out as soon as they come in, and then would just cut like a 2-minute promo so the next guy came in, and he'd throw the next guy out. It was fucking awesome.
That sounds great. That's even better than the Stone Cold Rumble where he was just sitting on the turnbuckles and stuff. It was Stone Cold. They would have given Stone Cold a mic. That would have been better. I bet that's the
evolution of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was literally like 6 minutes of Royal Rumble where it was just CM Punk cutting promos as the head of the Straight Edge Society.
Dude, it was ridiculous. God damn. Punk.
Anyway, you know who else is cutting good promos is I like Leo Rush. Like, this is a fun introduction to a new Leo Rush character. What you think of that?
I think I was like kind of surprised last week. I kind of made a joke, but I think that if he is going to manage Top Flight and maybe kind of be part of that, and you talk about trios titles, you just talk about having like a veteran who can teach them and can also talk, because when you look at Top Flight, they got everything. I know we haven't seen the other brother in a minute, but he'll be back from injury shortly. And Dante Martin is proving that he is going to be one of the biggest stars in wrestling, once he gets, his feet under him and once he gets some more experience. But the only thing those guys really have weakness in is talking, because they can fly around and they can really work a crowd. But Leo Rush has that experience, and he's a good talker. So I think that would be a fantastic fit. So I'm all for it.
Jason, you pro Rush?
Yeah. I've always liked Leo Rush. I'm kind of trying to figure out what this angle is going to be. I jokingly said he's the AEW $1 Million Man. That's what it felt like to me. It's kind of more of an extension off of that. I'll have my people call you kind of deal. So far, so good.
He said, I'll have my people call you. Like,
yeah.
Dante doesn't have people.
Right.
It's like, I'll have my people call you.
I was just like, okay, whatever, motherfucker. But yeah, I'm willing to see where this goes for a little bit. I mean, I want to see the first interaction between Dante and Leo, how Dante, I would assume, turns Leo down, and then we can kind of go from there. But I could be wrong. He might just sign with Leo Rush, but my assumption is that he would turn him down. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, this is my hope for Leo Rush. Is that Leo Rush slowly starts to pick up some wins. He starts to gather some people. Maybe the Acclaimed, maybe Private Party. Maybe I'm Vince McMahon that think that all black people should be in the same faction together.
I was going to say.
You stole my thunder, dog.
But then you have Leo Rush and his faction versus the Pinnacle, and Leo Rush versus MJF. But promos on each other would be incredible. Like, legit, fun, incredible.
Nah, look.
Both those. I think Leo Rush is an incredible promo. First of all, I thought he retired like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
He's retired a couple times, but I get it. If I was in the public eye, I'd probably, yeah. He's not he's a flaky dude. That's the thing.
What a promo, though.
No, he's that he can talk, he can wrestle. I mean, he has legit talent. It's just
that's my hope for him. And then the final part of Dynamite was the ladder match between Pac, Andrade, Mox, Archer, Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy, and then Hangman Adam Page comes in and wins at the end. Thoughts on this, Zach?
I want to talk about the crowd reaction because I think that's the most important thing. Like, the match was great. It was a great ladder match. The most important thing to me, the biggest takeaway, is the fact that the crowd expected Hangman Page. AEW delivered Hangman Page. Another example of like AEW telegraphing stuff, delivering on promises, giving the people what they want.
Yes.
Secondary to that, though, is how the crowd reacted to Adam Page, the most over dude of the entire night, the most over dude in the match. So over that whenever Moxley would interfere with Hangman getting to the top, he got booed. If he, like, I feel like Hangman might be the only person on the roster that could possibly get Moxley booed. And if you would have told me before last night that it was even possible, I would have been like, no. I was like, if anything, they'd be indifferent. Kind of like they were to Orange Cassidy. They did not boo Orange Cassidy, but they did not cheer him either. Like, it was just like, all right, Orange and Hangman are doing a spot. We're not going to boo you, but we're not going to cheer you either.
No.
Like, so
they straight up booed Moxley. I was like, what? Oh, like, okay.
The reason for me that this is the biggest takeaway is because with guys like Adam Cole, with guys like CM Punk, with guys like Bryan Danielson, I was worried that those debuts would, and the potential for these money matches would overshadow the long-term storytelling of AEW. And all this match did was prove to me that this long-term story outshines anybody that they could possibly like bring in for a money match. And it's totally fine if this is a headliner over like a CM Punk or like a Danielson match. I was happy to see it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, like, you were saying stuff that I think, and I haven't even thought it yet, but you're exactly right, though. It's like, you get worried that guys like Hangman Page and Orange Cassidy and guys, they've done such a spectacular job of keeping everybody in the forefront. Like, even Dark Order got a fucking segment tonight, you know? Like, they've done such a good fucking job. I mean, it's something. How many balls they keep in the air. I have nothing bad to say about AEW. I mean, this is like, what is it, 10 weeks in a row? I don't know. They're just doing fucking awesome.
Now, I will say this. I wasn't nearly as worried as Two Beer about Hangman Page, ultimately the story being paid off. With the difference between AEW and WWE for me so far in 2 years is that AEW doesn't treat me like I'm an idiot, and like Two Beer said, the long-term storytelling pays off. So they've instilled confidence with me. I don't have that same confidence with WWE. I'm always looking for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm always looking for, the okie doke or whatever the case may be. So that probably is my
banana in the tailpipe.
That probably is my overall cynicism with WWE and
once again,
wrestling in general.
You're making that sound old as shit. Nobody listens to this. Those are the banana and the tailpipe.
Shit, you motherfuckers do it. That's all that matters. The bottom line to me is this: Hangman Page versus Omega is the match for 2021 for AEW. Probably going to happen at Full Gear, which pisses me off even more because now it's not going to be here. It'll be in Minneapolis. So those who are closer to Minneapolis, enjoy. But the bottom line is that you probably didn't have to do Hangman Page winning this. It just justifies him getting the title shot, so you don't have to answer the question, why is Page getting this title shot? Well, he won this ladder match. He gets the title shot. So, wrapped up in a nice little bow. I hope that Pac is okay, because that dead eye that came from the top of that ladder scared the dog shit out of my ass.
Oh my God.
I mean, it happened so quick. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I thought this was some New Japan shit.
Table.
I know, motherfucker. I was like, God damn. Going through the table would have been bad enough. He just came down with just, fuck that. Him and Andrade took the two biggest bumps of the match.
My mom and dad just came by. They were like, oh, we're in town. And I said, well, Aaron was in an accident. They were like, oh, well, we'll come. Well, my mom was like, oh, we'll come see him. My dad was like, oh. And that's the match I was watching when they came over. I go, hey, Dad, check this out. And that's the spot he saw. He goes, what the hell are these guys doing? What the hell are these guys doing?
Okay.
But anyway, it was fun. Any last thoughts on that match, Zach?
No, I mean, right guy won. And, I don't always love the ladder matches for what they'll do to dudes' bodies. I mean, Pac being a perfect example, even Andrade took a terrible bump on the outside. But, that shit was on free TV. And I'll be goddamned if it was an anniversary show. At all, but I'll be goddamn if it didn't entertain the shit out of me.
No, it was a good match.
And the opening match. Those were both like pay-per-view level crazy events.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback off of what Two Beer said earlier. With the addition of guys coming in, I was kind of worried in the sense of, if it wasn't Hangman Page, who was it going to be? And now is this going to be at a point where, like I said, I've been on record. I'm thinking, this should be enough. There should not be another AEW edition for the rest of the year. Let this thing marinate for a little bit. Let's not put anything more in this pot. I'm glad. That's the reason why I was glad it was Hangman Page, because I don't think they need to add anybody else. He won, so it like I said, it justifies the fact that he gets the title shot. So it's win-win, and the spots were crazy. And like I said, I just hope Pac's okay, because I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Damn, you're supposed to be wrestling, dude.
All right. And without further ado, let's get to that 3 count. So the 3 count is everybody thought that we were going to be positive for all 2.5 hours of this podcast. Nope.
Who said that shit?
Time to shit on some stuff. So Smackdown happens. Smackdown drafts Roman Reigns. I'll just do all the Smackdown drafts. So this is on Smackdown. Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, McIntyre, New Day. That's not Big D. Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss hit row. Naomi, Jeff Hardy. The Usos, Sasha Banks, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boogs, Sheamus. Can't wait to see the Sheamus Nakamura feud. Shayna Baszler, Zia Lee. And I'm like halfway through this, and I realized I shouldn't have done it like this. Ricochet and the Viking Raiders. Humberto Carrero, Angel Garza, Cesaro, Holland Ridge, and Sami Zayn. Or Ridge Holland. Should Ridge Holland be on the main roster, do you think, Jason?
If you're doing this in in a draft scenario where this is a kind of like sports, you can't take fucking Ridge Holland over Pete Dunne. Come on, man. I mean, damn. That's just the start of this bullshit. Okay, it was time for a draft. It was time to shake up the roster.
You're talking kayfabe style, though.
Kayfabe style. Yes, I am. Does Ridge Holland deserve to be on? Not right now. No, I think he's green. I think he needs to be on NXT and get those reps versus God knows what the fuck they're going to do with him on the main roster.
He's a perfect example of a guy that NXT 2.0 is built for.
Mm-hmm.
Bring bring like the Pete Dunnes and the Roderick Strongs and the Ciampas up, and some of them might not want to go, but whatever. Like, bring him up and he's like same level as like Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is just newer. But I mean, he didn't have a lot of matches before he was gone on injury and stuff. They were just starting to push him.
Right.
So
yeah, he hurts people. I don't understand why he's on the main roster at all, though.
He's muscly.
Yeah.
He's a former rugby player.
Yeah.
He checks some boxes for Pritchard or Vince or both.
That's my only guess.
Here's the stupidest thing about the draft, though, is that like some guys get drafted to the thing they were already on. It's like Bobby Lashley stayed on Raw. What's the point?
Well, it's because the way they do it, it's like picking people for kickball, and it's like you're going to pick somebody that you already had on your team last game. This is kind of the way that it goes. The worst part is like there's like a bunch of people out there that didn't even get picked. That are actually on the roster. It went on though on WWE.com or whatever. Great consolation to those people.
Yeah.
I felt real good about it.
I think Zach talking about kickball there is a real deep cut into Zach's psyche.
Okay. You caught that too, right?
So, do you think that I was picked early in the picking or later in the picking?
I was going to say, I'll just jump in. You ain't shit, nigga. I swear to God. I'll just say this. My biggest problem with the draft is the fact that it takes effect in 3 weeks. Look, I get it. It's about Crown Jewel, and you want to lead these angles up into Crown Jewel, Brock and Roman, the triple threat for the women's title. I get that. You don't want to give these damn things away. Then just do the draft the night after Crown Jewel. You don't got to have everybody there.
Fake. It's all made up. It's fake. Like, just do whatever you want to do. Like, nobody's making you do it this week. It's fake.
Yeah, I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't even necessarily like, you split the rosters in two so you could do it in 2 nights. Man, look, you ain't got to drag this shit out. Motherfuckers going to watch anyway, okay? The fact that they're going to have this take place in 3 weeks blows my motherfucking mind. I've never understood this. I'm watching these angles and I'm like, a lot of this shit ain't even going to matter in 3 weeks. Okay, why are we giving a fuck about
your mind too?
Yeah, okay, somebody's going to be moved, already traded from SmackDown, Chad Gable, some shit like that. Just wait 3 weeks, man. You ain't got to do it this way. Build the fucking angles up to where they actually feel like something is going to make a difference. Like you were talking about Hit Row. Swerve is getting ready to lose the North American title on next Tuesday. Stevie Wonder can see that. So what the fuck am I going to watch that shit? I mean, just this.
Zach, do you have any other thoughts on it other than Jason's thoughts? I know you're about to say, man, Jason said it better than I ever could, but any other thoughts?
There is that. I will say too that as we also transition into Raw that you're going to talk about. So I said I've been watching past 3-4 weeks, every week. It's just been good, right? Been good shows, good television shows with some good matches. Granted, full disclosure, I watched the Hulu edition, so it cuts a lot of these 2-minute matches out. I don't see those. But
you ain't missing shit.
This week, this was just god-awful television. I watched it. I was putting together an IKEA cart with my wife.
Oh, shit. You got all night there.
And I started on the front room, and she's like, what is this? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know who this television show is for. I'm like, I'm a wrestling fan. It ain't for me. And I was like, I can't even figure out who would actually be entertained by this shit. And I was entertained by the last 3-4 weeks. Like, I really liked it. I was stoked about it, and I turned it on, and it just, I hated it. It was just so dumb. You couldn't make sense out of anything. It was all terrible. None of it made sense, and it was just a bunch of fake people saying fake shit.
I gotta be honest. I don't know why you liked it 3 out of the last 4 weeks, though. I can't watch it, man. It's embarrassing. if I'm in the room with my 7-week-old daughter. She's like looking at me. She's like, "Do you watch this shit?" And I'm like,
yeah, I guess.
But did
not
you watch?
usually.
Are
Like,
you watching? Because I know you like watch
I'm like,
on
this
Mondays.
is not the best angle. Like, this is like usually
You
better
watch
than
on
this.
Mondays, like usually, and just kind of like fall asleep or whatever. But like, I watch like that Hulu version, which is cut down and paired. And it was a pretty tight show the last like few weeks, and there was like good matches and stuff.
No, I agree.
I'll admit, like, we switched places. Like, I stopped turning it on. Like, I don't even turn it on. I write down what happens for the podcast in case we have to talk about it. But unless there's something that I'm like, ooh, I need to, like, when Big E cashed in, I was like, I'll go find that and I'll watch it just so I can see what happens. You know what I mean? Just like the title change hands, but like, I never really turn it on now.
No,
I'm right back to not watching the shit now.
Yeah, I was going to say that the hard part about it is
Higher Learning and American History X like back to back over and over and over again.
Yeah, I was going to say fuck up your whole mind in multiple ways. As the only guy that watches it regularly, I mean,
they had some good points.
Yeah, I'm sure American History X had some great points. I'll just say this. I agree with Two Beer on this one. The last 3 weeks up until the draft on Monday night were actually weeks that were watchable and, got me entertained and, got me excited again. This was just, here's the draft. This is who we're drafted. They didn't even, drag out the Usos, possibly going to Raw more than one segment. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers ain't shit. Okay. So, I mean, ultimately it was just to get eyes off of Monday Night Football, get eyes on a product that is doing a pseudo draft, and like Bill said, some guys never even move. So it is what it is. They don't even have
that
women.
was the best story they had going, and they didn't even play into it. Like they could have drug that out. That's the best story. Like that's super intriguing. Like the story of, is Paul Heyman, like, whose side is he actually on? Is Brock Lesnar just messing with Roman Reigns' head by saying that he's still in cahoots with Paul? Or is Paul still in cahoots with Brock and he's just playing both sides and he's going to go to whoever wins? Like, that's an intriguing storyline.
Dude was like, you leave him for dead if he doesn't make this thing happen. How you not going to drag that shit out for 3 hours?
Yeah, especially with Paul Heyman playing the guy in the hot seat. He's going to play it perfectly.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is whatever. I mean, they don't have women for the women's tag team champions to defend against. They broke up all the tag team stuff. Just like, dude, I'm over it.
Dude, there is not a single tag team left in WWE for the women except for women's champions.
Yeah.
Like, that is the only tag team that is still existing.
Well, that's cool. That's cool though, because that's a team that's been together forever.
Was the Super Brutalities just ran everybody off of the tag team scene? Jesus Christ!
I mean, everybody knows them as great. Just
they're like the Steiner sisters.
The Legion of freaking Doom. Yeah, whatever, dude. Not even close.
Speaking of the women's division, though, we have our Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch in the last SmackDown and the last Raw. They ended the show each time, I believe, and all four of them were on screen. Sasha Banks ending up standing tall at the end of Raw. This looks like a four horsewoman angle if you replace Bayley with Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm.
That seems fair to you, Jason.
Very. You said exactly what I was thinking. This is exactly a four horsewomen angle. It's what I've been saying for weeks, months. Once you get past the top four women on WWE, they have no real idea of what they want to do with next. Nobody gets developed. Bianca Belair, fortunately, makes the cut for this, so she has an angle moving forward. I wonder, it's going to come down to Crown Jewel, what happens there to, her longevity in this, top star role for the moment. She'll be fine on Raw,
But let let me ask Zach this, though. Is it a chicken or the egg thing? Is it because we expect these veterans, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch to be specific, and Bianca Belair thrown in, but do we expect them to be better just because we've known them for so long, or is it just because they're that much better than everybody else?
They're bigger stars. They all have the most star power, even including Bianca. I think there's other women with star power. I think Rhea Ripley's probably right there with Bianca as far as potential for being a big star. But it's more about star power than like a total package situation. It is kind of weird that they still call it the Raw Women's Title and the SmackDown Women's Title when you have the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. Like, they just need to call it like the WWE Women's Championship and the WWE Women's Universal or something, because you got Charlotte holding the red belt and Becky holding the blue belt, and Becky would look so much better with that red belt with her red hair, but they can't. They're on different brands.
Take it easy.
But
no need.
And then they're
too horny.
They don't have to accessorize. But they are on that brand, like Charlotte's now on the other brand. I know it doesn't take effect for 3 weeks before they're just going to trade belts. I know they've done that before, but yeah, I mean, back to your question, it's just as far as star power goes, yes. But I think that 4 horsewomen angle, I think that's going to be a thing for a real long time, with good reason, because
until they do it, because they've never, the 4 of them. If you take out Bianca and throw in Bayley, the 4 of them have never been in the match, just the 4 of them, right?
In NXT, they were.
All 4?
4-way.
In one match?
Yeah. We watched it, and it was awesome. It was like, I think we gave it 4 stars. Pretty unanimously.
Whoa. So Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch...
Not Bianca. With Bayley.
Okay.
Yeah,
The 4 horsewomen have been in a match on NXT. Okay. I'm just making sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure we had it right, because I'm like, motherfucker, when this shit happened? I don't remember this.
We watched the NXT do-overs.
We haven't done that in a minute.
I was going to say.
No, I know, but we did watch that one though.
I'm pretty sure we seen that.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah, it was a 4-way.
It had to be really early when Charlotte was still kind of like a mainstay on NXT. It feels like that would be early in Becky Lynch's character, where she did turn heel for a little bit on NXT. So I'm pretty sure we watched that. I'm like 90% sure.
We definitely covered it here because I didn't watch it before the rewatch.
Okay, there you go.
Who is the one out of those 4? Not Bianca, Bayley. So Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha. Which one of those would you most like to see in the G1?
Bayley, without a doubt.
Sasha get broken in half.
We'll go with Charlotte.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Charlotte. She might actually be able to take the rigors of 3 weeks of G1. So, yeah, I'll go Charlotte.
Man, I'd love to see Charlotte Taichi.
So you keep kicking me, bitch. Stop.
That sounds really good.
No, it would at least be entertaining. I mean, it would last for so long. I'm sorry, but at a certain point, I'd have to be like, we need to get some shit going on over here. It's G1 time.
I just want to do Bayley and Ishii.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why are you doing that girl like that, man?
Oh, that would be so much fun. God, that would be fun. I would pay money to see it. Anything else from the main roster, boys?
No, I don't want to watch.
I mean, are we watching Crown Jewel?
God,
I haven't watched these Saudi shows.
Yeah, let's decide right now.
The first one.
Are we going to watch it? Or are we going to do predictions on it?
Wait,
I don't want to do predictions because they don't matter. But I do think maybe we watch it to talk about it.
Oh, they matter, dude, and you're in last place.
How you about I will make a pack. If you guys want to watch it, I will watch it. I have not watched I've watched a couple of matches from Crown Jewel, like the train wreck matches, the tag team match with Kane and Taker.
One day while I was working, because it came on at Friday morning at like 8 a.m. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. I just put it on the iPad in front of me. That was not the one where Goldberg almost killed Undertaker.
I watched that match.
It's on Peacock now, so really I'm paying $4.99 a month to have The Office on streaming all the time. And I'm not giving blood money to WWE. It's fine.
Okay, so we are saying we're not going to do predictions, but we're going to watch Crown Jewel and then talk about it.
No, I say we don't do predictions. We don't watch it, and we talk about it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, let's go with that.
All right, get ready, Jason, and that'll do it for our 3 counts. All right, boys, I'm about done. Is there anything that you want to say about NXT?
Braun Breaker's about to be the new NXT champion.
Okay. Zach?
Oh, yeah, he is. Got the rockets on him. He is, he's crowning, right? He's just like that turd after a lot of fiber diet. He's just like crowning out, and he's about to hit the bowl with a big splash.
Wow.
That was poetic.
I mean, to tell you.
I kind of hate the new NXT. I thought that I liked it. Now I kind of hate it because it's so, like, fast. It's like there's
never
a
cool
match
for a couple weeks, but it sucks.
But Ciampa versus Braun Breaker sounds fun. I think Braun Breaker sounds. I mean, he's fine. It's like, but where's he been? How has nobody ever heard of him?
He was a football player, and then he decided to be a wrestler, so he went to NXT's, like, the WWE's training camp. That's it. That's the story.
Well, I was a football player. I decided to be an English major, and then I went straight to the bar, and I was a bartender for 15 years.
Okay, so then we just need you to get you to the performance center and get you some sort of like bartender gimmick or some shit. You know, you throwing shot glasses at motherfuckers or something. I don't know.
The dick. The dickhead bartender.
You can serve that tag team and get them real drunk and beat them up.
All right, Jason, give me this is banned from ringside.
This is banned from ringside.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. Aiden English is 34. What is his name? He's doing commentary on NJPW Strong, right?
Yeah, and he's on Impact as well. I'm sure I won't butcher his last name, but it's Matthew Raywalt.
Right, but it's like Matt the Drama King or something, right?
Yeah, that's the gimmick or whatever on Impact.
Yeah, Miz is 41. He's younger than me. I don't like that. Eddie Guerrero would have been 54 this week.
R.I.P.
That is my daughter's namesake, Edna Guerrero. Stevie Richards. Love him. Love him from Right to Censor. He was
here we go.
He's 50 this week. He's not dead. He's 50.
I said, here we go. I didn't say he was dead. Damn.
No, I did.
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes, he is dead. He would have been 76. Rikishi is only 55. I don't know how that heart keeps pumping. Taz is 54. Huh?
That's insane. Like, when did he have, like, the Usos? Like, he was, like, 16 years old. He was knocking somebody up with twins. Like,
well, I mean,
don't do it. Don't do it.
He's got a magnetic personality. He's got a magnetic personality.
See,
Dusty Rhodes and Rikishi kind of have the same body type, though, when you think about it. Ricochet is 33. Rhea Ripley is 25. Riddick Moss, who's made his comeback as Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin, is 32.
God, that's horrible.
Looks like I wrote down Karen Jarrett, but I is, I don't know, 105.
You ain't shit, nigga.
Jake, go ahead and hit the closing music.
Rabbit fever, middle of the night.
Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For my wife, Erin Nicole Biggs.
Check.
For my daughter, Edna Mae Josephine Biggs.
Check.
For Zach's kid, Tyler and Dexter.
Check.
And Stella.
Check.
For Jason's kid,
Billy Brewster.
And Zola. And
Fuck you.
For Vice.
Check.
And for Super Zach Bowman, I
Check.
and Bill Bacon. Everybody
Check.
boo the heels.
Boo!